The first time anyone in Lagos whispered the name Richard Adebayo, it was with admiration. The second time, it was with awe. By the third, it was with a kind of reverence that bordered on fear. Richard wasn't just rich, he was globally untouchable. From the glass skyline of Lagos to penthouses in Dubai and villas in London, his presence stretched across continents. His estates in Banana Island were a cluster of architectural masterpieces, duplexes lined in marble, private cinemas, rooftop pools glowing blue against the night. His convoy of luxury cars, Rolls-Royce, Lamborghini, armored SUVs moved like a royal procession whenever he stepped out. And then there were the jets. Not one, not two, three, each branded subtly with the insignia of his conglomerate, Adebayo Global Holdings, a name that echoed through oil, tech, real estate, and politics on social media. He was a symbol of African excellence on television. He was a visionary to the world. He was success personified. But power like that never stands alone. Maya had served in his household for 15 years. 15 years of loyalty, silence, and observation. She came into his life long before the fame reached its peak. Back when his Lekki home was just a single duplex. Back when he still smiled easily. Back when nights were quiet. Now, the nights had changed. Every seventh night, something shifted. The mansion would fall into an unnatural stillness. Security tightened. Staff dismissed early. Lights dimmed in sections of the estate that no one spoke about. Maya noticed everything. She was the kind of woman who knew which guest used which perfume, which politician visited secretly at midnight, which mistress cried behind closed doors. Curiosity was her nature, sharp, uncontrollable. And lately, something had been wrong. The sounds, low chants, then louder, then violent. Like something being dragged, like something resisting. The first time she heard it, she told herself it was construction. The second time, she blamed her imagination. But by the fifth cycle, the truth pressed heavily on her chest. This was no ordinary ritual. That night, the air felt thicker than usual. It was exactly 1 o'clock a.m. Maya sat upright on her bed in the staff quarters, her heart racing as the sound returned louder than ever before. It wasn't just chanting now. It was screaming. Raw, human. Her curiosity burned hotter than her fear. She stepped out, barefoot, silent. The mansion loomed like a watchful giant as she traced the sound past the east wing, through a restricted corridor she had never dared enter before. The door at the end was slightly open, a faint red glow leaking through. She hesitated, just for a second, then she pushed it open. The room was not a room, it was a chamber. Dark symbols carved into the floor, candles flickering wildly, the air thick with smoke and something metallic blood. At the center stood Richard, but not the Richard the world knew. This Richard was bare-chested, his body marked with strange inscriptions. His face twisted in something between pain and power. Beside him stood an old man, the witch doctor, his voice rising in furious incantations. And then they stopped. Both of them turned, slowly, their eyes locked onto Maya. Time froze. For a moment, no one spoke. Then the witch doctor's expression changed. Not anger, recognition. "Ah," he whispered, his voice echoing unnaturally. "The offering has come herself." Maya's breath caught. "Sir, I didn't." Richard's face hardened. Not shock, not surprise. Acceptance. Like this had already been decided. "No one must witness this," he said quietly. The candles flared violently. The symbols on the ground seemed to move. Before Maya could run, her feet refused to obey. An invisible force dragged her forward, step by step, into the center of the markings. She screamed, but the sound didn't leave the room. The witch doctor raised his staff. The chants grew louder, deafening, violent, consuming, and then silence. 3 days later, Lagos stood still for a different reason. Maya's funeral. It was grander than anyone expected for a maid. White tents stretched across a large compound. Influential figures attended. Cameras flashed. Tears flowed. At the front, a framed picture of Maya smiled softly, dressed in her best uniform. People whispered, "Such a loyal woman. 15 years with that family. Such a mysterious death." And then, a murmur spread through the crowd. A woman had just arrived, dressed in black, walking slowly toward the front. Some people gasped. Some stepped back, because the woman walking toward Maya's casket was Maya. Her face was pale, her eyes distant, but it was her. She stood before her own photograph, before her own body, before her own funeral. And she smiled. Not the warm smile they knew. Something else. Something empty. Across the city, in one of his towering duplexes, Richard watched the news coverage quietly. His phone buzzed non-stop. Business deals, international calls, invitations. His power had doubled, his influence unstoppable. Behind him, in the reflection of the glass wall, something moved briefly in the shadows. Watching, waiting, the seventh night would come again, and this time, the ritual would demand even more.